the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. The Northwest Race Report is brought to you by O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Lebanon, Oregon. You want to win? O'Hagan's wants to help. And by True Tech Automotive, Hazeldale, Washington. Get your car, truck, or tow rig repaired the right way, the True Tech way. And by Scott Seal Coat and Striping, Federal Way. For over 25 years, whether you're sealing or striping, you can count on Scott. And by Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, Speed City LLC, keeping racers on track with quality support and friendship. You're tuned in to the Northwest Race Report exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what is going on, racers? It is Super Late Model Monday. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, sitting alongside my main man, the loader, Jeff Eden. What's going on, Jeff?
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
Yes. I apologize because we're late, because the internet, my router, it was just being weird. So I apologize. But we're going to hustle right in because we've got the best to start. Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. So, boy, it has been a female overtaking in the Northwest Super Late Model Series. Our guest tonight finally got the monkey off of her back, and she wins Meridian. Only, a couple, 2-3 weeks after Roseburg? 2 weeks after Roseburg?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
After Brittany Zamora wins her first one, and Brooke Schimmel picks up the win. Hey, Brooke, thanks for being on the show. Hey, so does it feel good to get the monkey off your back?
Oh, for sure it does. It feels like we've had a shadow behind us since even last year, just following us around. We've been struggling to get anything done, really.
Right. Now I understand you told me you're not feeling too good, huh? You got the crud?
What was that?
I said you told me you're not feeling too good? You've got the creeping crud?
Yeah, I've been sick for probably a little less than a week now. I just haven't been feeling good.
Wow. Were you sick Saturday night?
Yeah, I was sick, so we almost thought about not coming last minute.
Wow. Well, I bet you're glad you went now, though, aren't you?
Very glad. We had a lot of things going wrong for us, but at the end it just all came together.
Well, not to beat a dead horse, but kind of bring us up to date as to what happened. Because I read a post that said, you were having issues on Thursday and Friday and even during on the race day. So kind of take us through what happened.
Yeah, so first off, I'm sick, my dad's sick, that was no good. And then driving to the shop, we got a flat tire on our car. We had a bolt stuck in our tire.
Wow.
So we ended up leaving late from the shop, later than we wanted to. We showed up late to practice because of that. And went out, shook the car down, and was having carb problems. That was the same from Roseburg. We were having problems in practice there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we changed the carbs out. And it started to run okay for a while. And then almost kind of like the same problem occurred. So we, after a little bit of trying to figure out what it was, we loaded up for the night, came in the morning, and we went through, I think they said 3 fuel pumps until we got it running okay. And even during the race, we had some problems, but it turned out obviously okay.
Wow. So now, let me ask you, your car is a Fury, right?
Yes.
What does Tony Uri Jr. have to do with that? Are those his cars that he builds, or is he just there to help?
He hasn't came up and helped, but they do come out of that shop that he owns. I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
So they're really nice chassis. I mean, I've been there. The shops, I mean, nothing's out of place there. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. A race shop can be that clean, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at two of these chassis and they're completely the same, and that's what's nice about running them.
So, do you talk to Tony Eury Jr. quite a bit? I mean, do you get to talk to him, or is it mainly your dad?
I've talked to him a few times, especially when we go down east and we visit. I talk to him a bit. All my guys at Custom Fab, they're dealers for Fury, so they talk to them a lot.
Very cool. So take us. How did you qualify? I think what did I see here? Were you happy with how you qualified?
Lately, we haven't been qualifying how we want to. It was better than it has been in the past. Super, super loose, especially the first couple laps. Track just got greasy on us, especially with having the limited practice that we had. But it set us up to be on pole, so I'm not going to complain too much there.
Right. Well, you were what? I think Brittany was quick time. Is that correct?
I do believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And where did you end up qualifying?
I ended up 6th.
Well, that's not bad. Obviously you want to be fast time, but 6 isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Especially when they roll 6 on the invert, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. You fell into that one.
Yeah, we'll just say it's planned.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously then, you led all 25 laps, 75 laps?
Yes.
Car must have been pretty decent.
It was really, really good. I mean, everything, even when nothing was going right, everything was going right. So,
aren't they a joy to drive when they work like
when
that?
When they work.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it makes it really fun. And then on the other hand, you go out, right, and they throw the flag and you go into one and you say, "Oh boy, I got my hands full. This is going to be a long night," right?
Right. And the best thing that you hear is clear all around when you're up on front.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm just trying to figure out, did you run away and hide, or were they pretty close? As far as when you got the lead, did you run away and hide from them, or did you have somebody, was Zamora right on your bumper? I don't think she was, because she finished back a ways, right? So
right. The only two that I do believe were behind me for challenging was John Newhouse, and then I think I forgot Fenton.
Mm-hmm. Chris Fenton.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when we'd get off from a restart, we would get out a little bit, and then we'd start saving. Most of the race we were saving, and then when they'd reel us back in to a certain point, we'd start getting back into the groove and just keep the distance.
Right. Perfect. Conserve those tires, right?
Right.
So now, I just got to ask, so if I asked you after Meridian, what did you learn? What would you tell me? Did you actually learn something? You
always learn something when you go racing, and I think the thing I learned is to not doubt myself, not doubt this car, and just go with the flow sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because lately, I mean, nothing's been going right for this whole season, really, it seems like. So just have to have more faith sometimes, and that things will turn out good.
Absolutely. Do you believe that you can actually overthink this?
Oh, yeah. Racing is really tough. It's a lot of mental toughness.
Mm-hmm. But you can actually overthink it, and that can cause you grief as well, right? Just because you're worrying about every little thing.
For sure.
So what's next for Brooke Schimmel? What you're going to finish out this season? Are you going to be planning on running next year, or are you going back east? What are your plans?
Well, we're going to try to finish up this season with the Northwest Super Late Models. The only one that we might not go to is Salt Lake City. It's just a long, long tow. I'm finishing up my races with Lee Folk Racing back east.
Cool.
So doing the double duty that right there. And then next year, I'm not sure at all what's going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Brooke, how awesome is it to be doing this, though? I mean, my goodness, you're getting to go back east. You're getting to run out here. I mean, it's that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really challenging, though, because these two cars are completely different. I run late model stocks back east, and then I run the supers here. And everything from when you shift to how the car handles in the corner is completely different. So when I say I race east and then I come here the next weekend, it's just like I got to get in a different mindset.
Right. Well, what is okay, so you said you run a regular late model, and then you run a super late model. So if we've got people listening that might not know, well, I mean, what's the difference? Is it just a motor package, or is it the chassis? What's the difference?
There's a couple of differences. So the car I run back east, late model stock, it has a heavier front end, so it reacts a lot different to when you take the turn and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to have the same
coilovers and stuff. You probably have to run big springs right on the front of that.
Yeah, so we run big springs back east on those, and then the engine, it's a crate motor as well.
Wow. So yeah, I could see where that might be a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, a car is a car is a car is a car, right? I mean, you still have to slow down enough to let the car tell you what it wants, and then hopefully you've listened enough to you can give the car what it does want.
Right. Yes.
That's the tough part.
Some days.
So my last question for you, because I know you're not feeling good, but tell me one thing about motorsports that you just, I mean, would it matter to you if you were racing a sprint car, or do you just absolutely love late models? Or, because I know you did some open wheel stuff when you were quarter midgeting and stuff, so did you have aspirations to do any sprint car stuff, or was it always the thoughts of going late model?
You know, when I was younger, I didn't see anything past quarter midgets. I didn't even know there was anything else out there, really. Wasn't really involved. And then when I got older, we obviously had to make the choice of what to do. And my parents would not allow me to race anything open-wheeled at all, pretty much, just because of the safety factor.
Mm-hmm.
So we went legend racing instead, and honestly, I would run almost anything I could get into, almost. But my parents would be against it.
What's the almost? Would you like to get in a 360 sprint car? Or?
Just for the sake of my dad, I'll say no.
But you would kind of like to, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would get into anything.
That is so cool. Well, we might have to get you out and get you in a UAS kart then, so you can come try one of the big go-karts, because you didn't do much karting, did you?
No, my dad did, though. He raced a lot of go-karting, and that's one of the reasons I didn't go go-karting, because my mom didn't like the fact that there was no roll cage, and she had seen him crash before. So we had to find something else, and my dad found quarter midgets.
And boy, were you good in those. Wowee. You know, it's kind of crazy, Brooke, that we're talking, because the 29th, I'm going back to Monroe for the Western Grands. I'm going to be doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just kind of cool. I remember when back in 2010 when you were there and I was there, that was a neat deal.
Yeah, I had a couple really good years in quarter midgets and a couple of really bad ones, too.
Yeah, but, that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be this in your late model career, too. There's going to be some rotten seasons and there's going to be some really good ones.
For sure.
What are you feeling about this season? Are you okay with it?
About this what?
This season, this late model season, are you happy with how things are going so far?
I think. Well, right now I
was going to say, you just won. You'd have to be.
But the year in general has been up and down in itself, and some of it doesn't show in how we've been finishing. But I am learning almost every single race, and my whole thing is as long as I get in the car and I learn something that I can apply to the next race, that's something big for me. That's a win,
Mm-hmm. I do know. So now, are you actually racing during the school year? I mean, like back east. Okay. So what do you do with school? Does school let you out, or are you homeschooled, or what happens with school when you're actually racing? Say you're back east or whatever. Like, do you just get the time off, or?
I am schooled 100% online as of this year. So it's hard, but it's what I have to do to go racing.
Wow. So completely online.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're listening to your lectures and everything online.
Yes, everything's online. And when I have a problem, I don't even really have a teacher to talk to. I go online and I email them.
Wow. That's crazy. But that's cool. That's cool. At least you get, like you said, you get to go racing. So,
right.
Well, you know what, Brooke? Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you don't feel good, and it's always terrible when you got people wanting to talk and ask you questions. But, gosh, kid, I'm so happy for you. I mean, I know this is a long time coming. And how long have you been late modeling? Is this your third year?
No, this is my second year. It's my first year in a super, though.
Okay. So if you had a choice, would you stay in the super or would you go with the other late model?
That's a little bit of a tough choice. I do like racing in the Northwest. It's cool. But then when you go back east, there's so many new tracks that I get to go to. I don't think I can answer that one. I mean, both of them just are so much fun to go out and do.
Awesome. Brooke Schimmel, you know what? I can tell you this much. This won't be your only win. There'll be many more to come and a lot of fast times and everything else. You're just you're a heck of a wheel. And you got a bright future ahead of you. It's kind of, you can write your own ticket, right? It's kind of what Brooke Schimmel wants to do. So thank you so much for being on the show. And I hope to get to another race so I can check you out. Shoot, I wish I would have seen that one. Both Roseburg and that would have been super cool. You guys are like the female phenoms of the Northwest now, so I mean, Nicole Behar she didn't run, did she? She ran at State Line.
She ran at State Line and won at State Line.
Right. So the females are killing it. But you think you can beat Nicole Behar?
I've actually never raced against her, so I don't know. I couldn't say.
Well, you're supposed to say, heck yeah, I can.
Heck yeah, I can.
There you go. All right, Brooke. Hey, tell your dad hi for me. Thanks for taking the time to be on the show, and I hope you feel better.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, too.
You bet, Brooke. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Well, she's a lady of few words, right?
Well, she's not
feeling good either. But still, yeah. But that's a big win. Big win. I mean, because didn't we just talk the last one, right? I said Schimmel's better than this. And boom, there it is.
Yeah, and so Brittany got her first win. She's got her first win. Who's next?
Well, I don't know how many. Let's see. Well, let's go over the finishing order. It was Brooke Schimmel, Chris Fenton. I've never seen Chris Fenton run. I've seen his name, but I've never seen him run. Jan Evans was third.
Good run for Jan.
Ed Thompson, fourth.
All right, Ed.
Yeah. Fourth. Zamora fifth. Kress sixth. Mitch Klein seventh. Mason Newhouse eighth. Ninth was Cameron McKeon. 10th was Justin Ellis. Dave Thomason. Jesse Awuji. Dylan Caldwell. And Dan Lother.
Boy, oh, Crest, that's a long ways to travel. Woo.
Staten to Meridian?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed with her. They've been at every show.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. I don't think, again, I believe Alan Kress is better than what he's been showing. They're either in a slump or they just, they haven't found that little fit. Yes. And isn't that how it is? I mean, even in your modified, right? You can be good, really good, but you're just there, even though you're really good. But it's finding that little. It doesn't take much.
That's the reason you play. You can't be comfortable with what you have. You gotta keep striving.
Well, that's what I mean. You're 100% right. It's like, why would you not do anything? You could be that one change away from being an absolute animal, right?
Yeah.
But where does that? I guess my question is, where does that end? I mean, so then you make that change and you say, well, I gotta make another one because I could be more of an animal than I am now, and it's kind of.
Well, you're constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't status quo don't work. And there's times you get to status quo because you know what your car is at the best at that condition.
Right.
But if you've got that condition and you've got a free to play, why not change it? It's easy to change back.
As long as you got your baseline.
Yeah.
That's a true fact. But so then where does overthinking come into it? Like
maybe especially like with the dirt, how we got a real nice hot day. Oh my gosh, we're going to have a dry slick. And you get down there and they're just pouring tons of water and it never dry slicks.
Right.
You've overthought it already because you had your mind set up what it was going to be. So that threw you your curveball.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go down there on a Saturday night and it's, we're set up to go. I mean, it's tacky. We're going to, and they haven't watered all week. It might have been overcast. It might have had a little bit of rain, but it didn't get into the track. It's just sometimes at that point in time before you get there is.
Well, and I think the other way too is, you've got all this, they've got the conventional setup where you can go to the coils, or then you can go to the bump stop stuff, which is what everybody's doing. So, but you can't ever forget just the basic.
Exactly.
Late model 101, the left side, the cross, this. I mean, sometimes you get so caught up in all the, we're going to go to the bump stops. We got to put this spring, and you kind of almost forget especially when you're struggling. That's when you have to say, okay, we're going to
time out, back to base, start over.
Exactly.
Because even up there at Wenatchee, when I got to wander down there for a little bit, everybody had scales and they were on the scales, and oh my gosh, if your car was scaled before you got there, you had your baseline. You should know what changes made what, and if you're I can't believe you can be so concerned about making them changes what they're doing until after you made them and go, but they're making them and then scaling it and making after they make it.
I think probably what they're doing is they're making the change, scaling it to see how far off of the setup that they had,
yeah.
Right, that they had. I mean, obviously, you want to try to keep the numbers close and all that, but you're right. I mean, it's that's the whole thing. I mean, then we haven't even talked shocks yet, or you got the dynos and stuff there, guys using that. I mean, but then you look at Zamora. they don't have any of that. They're just, I mean, yes, they're bump stop, but they're all probably like we used to do, jack the center of the rear end up and with the socket and see which side lifts. So, I mean, there's a million ways. It just kind of whatever works, I guess, for you.
At that time.
Right. I mean,
until somebody can show you something different, you go with what you believe in.
But that's what you have to have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great point right there. Is you've got to have your own belief system on how you think things work, right? So I could be running bump stop. You could be running bump stop. But I'm going to think certain things about the bump stop are more important than maybe what you might think they are on the bump stop. That's garbage. You don't need to worry about that. All you got to do on a bump stop car is do this, right? And so everybody's going to have their little variation of it.
If it was all the same, it'd be boring.
Well, but you got to know that for the most part, I think, I mean, you got driving style and all that stuff and, how much motor you got and everything. But, I mean, let's face it. Those cars there now, there's I mean, sure, there's difference in talent and skill level and all that stuff. But, I mean, if you really look at those cars, piece for piece, there's not a huge difference on some.
No.
I mean, some may have some heavy stuff wherever, but they're still good pieces, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think a guy's getting beat strictly because his pieces aren't good or the car isn't good. I mean, all those cars are pretty nice. So it's just a matter of finding the sweet spot. So good stuff. I mean, good stuff. I mean, I love it. I'm just, my question is, so what was that? 16 here. 16 at State Line. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatnot. So, and it was a pretty big race there at State Line. It was a 200. Right? So, I'm just trying to figure out, are we not working together as a whole? Are we,
Well, I'll go back to what Mary Alexander said. We don't have the money to travel. That's why, because I asked her, you coming? Like, guys, going to South Sound? We don't have a travel budget. So basically, we stay close to home.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to, and you know as well as I do, it takes dollars to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't got the extra and you would rather put it in your race car and race at your local track, you can't fault them for that.
No, you can't. But I'm just saying, I'm just trying to figure out, is there?
I don't know.
It'd be cool to have 32 cars there,
I've been thinking about that. I keep thinking about that. Why can't we? But it still comes back down. You got so many, how do you want to put this? You got your home bodies,
mm-hmm.
and that's where they want to race. They might venture out a little bit, but they're not going to venture out far.
Right.
And you got people that can afford to venture out far. So this is I don't know if there's a solution to that.
Right. There isn't. There is. I mean, other than maybe trying to keep some of these events, here, the local, Yakima, Hermiston, Evergreen, WVSO.
But you see, the one thing you got, like with Joey, where they're at there, you've got State Line, and then you've got Spokane. So
right there.
You got two racetracks right there to race at.
Now, how far is Meridian from State Line? I mean, I know it's right on the border, but
it's down. It's quite a ways.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's what, Boise-ish?
The other side of Boise, yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's still, I would love to see everybody. I'd love to see, hey, let's centralize one deal and have a big bash.
Yeah, like the tour was, right? Yeah. That was one huge series. Yeah. You still had your local stuff, but it was still the huge series that was your elite series,
And about the one thing that I've always thought about that would make it kind of cool, if you had a series sponsor, but the sponsor, it was tow money in. You still had what your race was going to pay, but for the guy like Joey. Say we're going to go to Roseburg. Hey, you get so much money to tow to Roseburg.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start can
right.
I think then you're going to have the guys venture out. That's a help.
Well, let's just use the Unlimited All-Stars, for example. Ronnie got some money from different sponsors, or Uncle Chuck did, but they decided instead of putting it all back in they were going to have some gift certificates to give away for fuel, and that's all they were for. AM, PM gift card for, $50 or $100 or whatever it is. But you're right. I think maybe that's where some of the some of the sponsorship could go to. Hey, we want you to come here.
Say Napa wants to put so the Napa store. See, this is I kind of learned this through some other deal, like with Jimmy Johnson's car says Lowe's on it, but Lowe's don't pay for that car. DeWalt, everything that's in that store pays for it. So each one of them, if you look under, there's always little tags. Those are the ones paying it. Lowe's just made sure they paid it. So you got Napa comes in and says, hey, Napa, just using them as a deal.
Okay.
You got all the Napa stores around. Hey, they pitch in $500. All the Napa stores in Washington for one big blast. Put you in $500. Look how much money'd be there.
Right.
$200.
Now you're talking like for tow money?
Tow money.
Yeah.
So everybody gets tow money. And then the race where you're going is going to pay us $3,000, or if you can get it up, make it a $5,000 pot,
Right. And so you don't even have to be a title sponsor. You could just be an associate sponsor or whatever and chip in that. That's I like you might be onto something there.
You get there, the associates are what's it's like the young lady we talked with last Wednesday night. She's went out. She's got the modified portion.
Berkeley, is that right?
Tiana.
Mm-hmm.
She has gotten the Chevrolet dealership there, started the first amount of money, and now she's gotten more and more and more. So right now there's $1,100 purse there. There's 10 cars committed.
That's cool.
Everybody's going to walk away with some, and that's what it's.
That's what it's coming to.
Well, the thing of it is what she's after. She's trying to promote getting the modifieds back there because they don't have them there. And that's right at her door.
Did something happen that they left, or did they never really have them?
They were kind of a hodgepodge of everything.
Okay.
So, she wants to get the IMCA style modified there. Mm-hmm. So you're not having the outlaw guys and all this stuff, the guys that are running everything.
Right.
She wants that to be and I commend her for it. She's hustled this up, and she's.
Well, I think even when we're talking late model stuff, I think one of the things that I see that's kind of unfortunate, but like you have a series like the Northwest Super Late Model Series, right? Why can't you have the West Coast late models maybe run in conjunction with, or be a part of that series? You're getting to rub elbows with different folks up a level, maybe. And so I don't know. I just think it's a good deal. I think the mini stock, Northwest Mini Stock Tour. I like when they run with the super late models. I just think that's a better deal for them, even though I wish they got their mains and stuff, video. I think that's I wish they were doing that. I just, you're there videoing the race anyway. Why not give everybody their fair share? But that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, I just think a lot of these guys watched some of these guys up in the super late models, and now they're racing the West Coast late models, right? And I don't know. I just think it would be a cool thing to kind of incorporate that all together, and then maybe you might see some of that stuff like what you were saying. That tow money thing that sounds pretty. Now, did they have anything like that drag racing?
Like say you're the division where they had the bracket championships, you got tow money to go. Like if you're going to Canada, Woodburn had tow money to go to Canada.
But you had to finish in order to get it, right?
Yeah. So it's
well, now if you finished last, did you get $200 tow money? Did you have to, or did you have to actually make the show?
No, if you made the team that went up there, you got help.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I noticed too. We'll talk a little bit. Jan Evans, third. Maybe the light's coming on, right? He's starting to catch on, and they found a little something on the car
that he's liking.
Yep. But my deal is fourth place. Ed Thompson, that's a W for him, man. I mean, it is for how they go at it and everything. I mean, Zamora was fast time. 13:043.562 was the difference between her 043 and 10th place. 5/10 for 10 places? Is that a lot? I don't.
No.
I mean,
it's not a lot.
That's not bad. It was still a second between first and 15th or 16th. Yeah, not bad. Chris Fenton won a dash, and Dave Thomason won a dash. I guess they had 2 dashes there. They also had the Wayland Mods. Have you seen them? The Wayland Modifieds. They look kind of like the old Reggie Ruggiero and those.
I wonder if it was like the center steering.
Well, they're like the ones back east with the great big,
center
the asphalt.
steering.
Yeah. Colton Nelson won that. Casey Tillman, Larry Hull. That was your top 3 claimers. Dan Lowther, Brian Hyde, Jamie Hyde, top 3. And again, big shout out to Brooke Schimmel because she takes the win. Chris Fenton second, Jan Evans third, 4th was Ed Thompson, 5th Brittany Zamora, 6th Alan Kress, 7th Mitch Klein, Mason Newhouse. That's got to be relation to Hannah somehow, I'm guessing. Just saying, maybe not, but Cameron McKeon, Justin Ellis, Dave Thomason, Jesse Iwuji. Have you heard his story? Black guy. He's racing. He actually, I think he's been in the military. I think he's in the Navy, I want to say. But he owns a drag racing series down in California is where this kind of all started. And so he's been driving the Canaan West stuff mainly. He does some local, but he's BLG takes care of him. I know Joe Ransom was crew chief and for him for several races last year. So that's why he was up there running at Meridian. But good stuff there. Dylan Caldwell and Dan Lowther. Those are your finishers for the Northwest Super Late Model Series at Meridian. And let's move on. Let's take a look at...
how about the young lady at State Line?
Nicole Behar. Let me just say, yet another go-karter, right? So you've got Behar, you've got Zamora, and for the most part, you've got Schimmel. She did quarter midgets, but give or take, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Put a bar on it and cage on it, and boom. So that's saying something for karting. It has to.
Oh, yeah. It does.
And there's plenty more where these came from that are every bit as talented. Kyle Wick.
That name
right?
just is.
I mean, he's going to be, his whole thought process is nobody thinks like he thinks. I mean, he comes in off the racetrack and it would blow your mind listening to this kid, what he thinks about.
Brent, how old is which one of them?
Schimmel is 15. Brittany Zamora is 18. And I think Nicole's 20. She's over 21. I'm pretty sure, but I don't honestly know. But I met her and her family. I spent a lot of time with them when they were karting, and they weren't horrible, but they weren't. I mean, they weren't setting the world on fire or anything. They had their struggles in it. But boy, once she got in a car, good night, Irene. Right? I mean, she was the hottest thing going. The first couple of years, I mean, it was just crazy. I don't know what happened with all the stuff back east, and there was some issues with Havens and stuff. I don't know, some stuff went down at Spokane last year or whatever. But all that aside, doesn't matter. I mean, she's still a good wheel. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. And she's doing the West stuff. And I don't know, she may be doing the stuff back east. I just know that she went back there and it didn't quite pan out, I'm sure, like they thought. But
well, it's state line, and I didn't get the numbers. I have to, pardon my computer at home, is like this one here acting up. But Joey Bird was your number one qualifier. And Joey was in the hopes of winning this race because they had a 3-race series that paid a bonus if you won all 3 races. So he won the first. He won the first leg, but he didn't get the second.
Oh, what do you mean he didn't?
Well, he didn't get the second leg.
Oh, they were having 3 main. They had 3 main events.
There's 3 races in the series. I'm sure the one from State Line the other day that he won, and then this one and one other race was they were kind of had a bonus for the 3.
Gotcha.
To win all 3 of them,
but they were all at State Line, right?
No, I think the other one's at Spokane.
Oh, okay.
So, but Havens was your number 2 qualifier.
Not surprising.
O'Neill was number 3. Dave Garber, number 4.
Wow, that's awesome.
Knutson was number 5. Andy Brown, 6. Corey Allard was 7th. Josh Roberts was 8th. Nicole Behar qualified 9th. And Dirk Bennett rounded out the top 10.
So they had 10 cars there.
Well, no, there was some more on the list. I didn't get them all. I just figured the top 10.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, Tyler Brown, I know they run there quite a bit.
And there was, well, you got Andy Brown. Is that a brother?
No.
And there was another, on below that was another Knutson. So there was 2.
Glenn?
Yeah, there was 2 of them.
Wow.
So there was, the original list I seen, I thought it was 18 all total. So,
that's not bad.
So, and then Joey Bird was 2nd, and then Knutson, he got 3rd. So it sounded like, from what I got of the quick article that I seen on Facebook, and I can't find it again, but it sounded like it was a really good race.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounded like what that was down there. I mean, she got out, and once she got up front, she had a good race. So,
well, I mean, she is good. Let's just face it. I mean, maybe Bird just wasn't. I mean, he was fast time, right, by a bunch. Was it a bunch or?
I didn't catch on the. But hey, Brian, what's happening? Brian Williams checking in.
Cool deal.
I got to sit at home there on Saturday night and watch a little Legends race from down at South Sun because somebody was sending it over their phone.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and that was an interesting race.
Right.
Speaking of South Sound, they had 10 late models down there running. Those would be the crate motor ones. Dan Walker won it.
Who?
Dan Walker.
Wow. Who's the hot dog there?
These would be the limiteds.
Oh,
these
okay.
You're thinking of Presley?
Yeah.
Alger, Kyle Long, and Markinson was 2nd. Larry Lasmus was 3rd. Charles Meadows was 4th, and Edward Peters was 5th.
Cool.
I mean, they ran they had a 50-lap main. So, and then the Legends cars, my buddy's kid started in the back.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the back, and with 2 laps to go, he finally got the lead. And he worked his butt off to get to the lead. So it was him and I'm going to think it was the kid from Yakima, Jake Woods. The two of them were going at it the last couple laps. So
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jake Woods is a former quarter midget guy. I remember him from up at back in 2010. So,
well, that's where Devin was quarter midget at there at Grays Harbor. So.
Right. See, so
that
theme, step is
that theme.
Yes, it's good. I mean, I mean, how many times have you heard me say it? I mean, honestly, I think, at least when I was doing it, karting was, I mean, getting set up, it was way harder than cars. Way harder.
Oh, I can understand that just watching,
Right? I mean, I don't know what it is. You would think it would just be telling you right away because you're getting all that feel right in your butt, with no shocks and springs and everything. But they're a bear. They are a bear. And the, I don't know, it depends on your car, I guess, too, but the window is, if you get too big a window, you're not going to be very, you want that window, I think, fairly
small.
Right. But still, good stuff. I just love seeing kids move on, do the quarter midget thing, and be able to move on and at least get a chance to go big car racing if that's what they want to do, like Nicole. So she's got a taste of it, like Brooke Schimmel, like Brittany Zamora. I mean, this is great, right? If it goes no further than this,
yeah, they've won a race.
They've won. I mean, it's cool, but hopefully it continues on. But that brings up my other question. Do you have to go to NASCAR to actually be successful?
No.
I mean,
I don't think so.
What's wrong with running a Northwest Super Late Model Series till you're gray-haired?
Or K&N West Series.
Yeah, or that, yeah. Or any, I'm just saying, I think it kind of maybe belittles a little bit the local scene. There's nothing, man, we've got some good competitors here, and there's nothing wrong with just running this. I mean, it's highly competitive, so it's just a little bit less dollars, I guess.
Well, it is, and that's it. And, so many of them guys up in NASCAR, Craftsman Truck, all of that, they've brought money to the table. Whether they're good or not, they brought money to the table. Mm-hmm. And some of them, I watch and I shake my head. Why would you put them in your vehicle?
Well,
and it's because they brought the money.
That's right. But I think that like everything else NASCAR's been trying to do is they're missing the boat. It's like the haves and the have-nots in racing. You're always going to have that, right? You're always going to have the guy that can really afford it. You're always going to have the guy that, like they say, it's a rich man's sport, but every poor son of a is trying to do it. So you're always going to have that. You're never, there's always going to be the guy that can afford a new set of tires. This guy can't. So, but that being said, this sport is, to get to the big time the way it was, it's based, you should be able to get a shot because you're talented. That's why you work like you do. It shouldn't be
how much money.
Yes, because some of these kids go in there, they have no passion for the sport. They don't have, hey, Dad, I just want to go try. I want to see, I just want to see. Can I go try? It's like, it's just like a, I don't know, it's like a little game to them. So they go, and if they're no good, they say, okay, I'm done, I'm down the road to go. I just think, man, NASCAR needs to take a relook and start looking at these feeder series so that they can see the Brittany Zamoras, the Joey Birds, the Canutes. All of them that are working, and hopefully they get a shot, and not have to bring a wallet, 8 miles long.
And the thing and I think part of the thing we overlook in all of this too is these local people work just as hard, if not harder. Oh. Because you are the driver and you're also involved in your hands are dirty, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like getting up there and going, well, I can go over here and sign some autographs now, or I can go over here. They'll take care of the car. I think that I appreciate the local deal more when I watch a driver get out of the car. Okay, it's loose going in, and he's got his fingers in it to help it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
I mean, it's cool that he's got a crew so that he can focus on just driving, but
he's also focused on making the car better. That's what I think the young ones, that's where they miss. If you got all the money in the world and you go up there and say you get a ride with Roush, whoa, why? Well, great. Did you actually earn the thing, in my opinion? That's just what.
Well, here's a good example of that. Well, I think it's Matt Kenseth. Before he got to Cup, he was one whale of a late model driver, and I think he drove for left-hander. So the owner of left-hander said, "Okay, you're pretty good. So, but now you're going to build your own car. I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to understand what's goes into it and everything else." So he built his own cars. He understood them. He knew roll centers and roll couple and all that stuff. I mean, he got it, right? Because he had to. That's huge. I just think that makes you a better driver if you can totally understand the car, right? I mean,
well, you go back to Earnhardt Sr. His dad Ralph wouldn't let him near a car until first he learned how to sweep the floor, and you had to have a good grade in school, and then you can come and work on the car. And then he sat down and explained it to him. Priorities were straight. And Junior was the same way. Junior built, he had to start from the bottom. You're going to learn what this is. You're going to know what every nut and bolt is, where it goes, how it goes, why it's there. That's where I think some of this stuff gets missing.
Yeah, I agree, especially down at the lower beginning levels. Like I see it a lot in karting, right? The kid comes off and it's onto the skateboard and playing grab butt and hanky-panky while dad's doing all the – instead of, hey, you need to understand, I need to, if I'm doing this, then you're going to be doing this, right?
The most impressive one I've seen, and that was at the BK, was Evan C. He got out, and his fingers were on that cart, and him and his dad were talking about what to do with the cart. At his age, he has enough, he has that feel what he wanted,
mm-hmm.
and he didn't it's not dad's going to do it. It was Evan did it.
Right. I
sat and watched that. I was just impressed by it. That young man can go places.
I think he will. And you haven't even seen his brother, Austin. He's a heck of a wheel. So, yes, but I think it's all in how it's taught to you, right? At the beginning, like Mike Zamora and Brittany, they at the track. They were. He wasn't one of those little league kind of dads. He wasn't like that at all. But he took it serious, and they had this meant just smooth it, and they had all kinds of cool hand signals that they had, and the way they could communicate on the track, and it's something that but I will say he's a hell of a setup man too. I knew he raced and everything, and you always know, you say, oh, but man, he's a hell of a setup guy.
Well, when you look at her finishes, I know this last one wasn't indicative of what she's been doing or wanted, but you had Roseburg, you won. Wenatchee, she went to the back twice and came to the front.
She had a shot at winning South Sound for sure.
Yeah, so that communication's working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And the thing that I appreciate about Mike Zamora and that whole team is they have their belief system. They have an idea of what they think this bump stop is supposed to do, how it operates, what's good for it, what isn't. And you don't see them really running around going, oh, hey, what, you're asking, I mean, that's okay when you're new, but I mean, that's what I'm talking about is you have to have that belief system that
what you brought to the track
yes,
is
this is
the
what
deal.
we believe in, yes.
This is the deal.
Right. If you don't have that, that's what causes the run around the pits. Hey, what do you, hey, what do you do? Hey, you know what I mean? Because you've got it's okay when you're learning and whatever, but I mean, eventually you have to come up with, you got to say, okay, I get it. I'm going to make my car turn with stagger or whatever. Some guys will say, well, I only do it with springs, or I only do it with shocks, or I only, whatever they've got, right? But you might say, well, you know what? Stagger's going to make my car turn. That's what I'm going to do. I'll run as much like Bob Jeffrey. I'll run 10, 12 inches of stagger if I need to. And I'm not going to worry about the springs or, But then you talk to Duval back east, and he says, oh, nope. If I want it to turn, man, or I want it to tighten, it's a spring, man. I'm not messing around with stagger, blah, 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 blah. And the other guy says, well, when I do it, I get it close, and then I start dialing in with shocks to get it the feel I want. So that's ultimately like you and your driver on your modified. When you go to that racetrack, your routine, that's your belief system.
Oh,
you know that, whatever. Some guy will say, well, hey, I got you. You're going to go, that ain't going to work. That's not going to work. But maybe for him and his beliefs, right? I mean, he's going to have to fine tune it a little bit, but maybe that will work. Perfect example when we were going. Remember, everybody have those the sprung third links, and we had the biscuit, and everybody's like, "Yeah, man, oh boy, you got to have this sprung third link. It's the ticket." And I said, you know what? I don't honestly believe I'm getting beat because I don't have a spring-loaded third link, and I'm just running the biscuits. I honestly don't believe that. So I'm going to keep running the biscuits, and just because it's what I know. I will say when I did finally go to it,
but
it was better, but it wasn't. It didn't take me from not winning to instantly winning. I mean, it was,
But now it's back to biscuit.
Well, no, yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's that ebb and throw of everything that goes on.
Right.
It's weird.
But really, it's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and the biscuits I had weren't even the solid biscuits like they got now. The hourglass where it's skinny, Remember, we just had the old Ford. They were like, I think they were bushings off the front end of a old I-beam Ford or some stupid thing.
That's about what they looked like.
Yeah, and so two one way and two the other way, and
I think we said it went 3, and then we had the ticket. We could have sold it then.
But I will say though, I did like my double spring pull bar. It was good. But anyway, you say it on pavement, and everybody goes, "Huh?" I mean, they were just running Heim back there, right? So, but there again, there's that ebb and flow, right? It'll go, somebody will get it. It's kind of like monkey see, monkey do to a point. But, you'll never find out any of that little stuff unless you go try it, and that's what I tell everybody when they're learning. Go try it. I don't care that Garrett Evans isn't running it or whoever's running it. Go try it. I mean, if nothing else, you're going to prove to yourself what you need to know. Okay, you're going to know, okay, it doesn't work. Well, God, they told you it wasn't going to work. Well, you need to know it's not going to work. They can tell you till they're purple, but until it doesn't work.
Well, foul. I want to set up on my cart. Go run it. Then come and...
Yeah, that's what they say when they buy the race car, or the go-kart. It's like, oh, I want this. He says, just go drive your go-kart. Just go drive it. 95% of the questions that you're going to ask me right now will be answered if you just go drive your go-kart. Same with the race car. You can try to be, put some good numbers in it, ask that, get that, go there and just drive the thing, right? I mean, odds of winning a super late model race right out of the gate when you're just beginning, unless you're just extremely talented or super lucky. I mean, you just got to go run and get the feel and see what's up.
It's laps.
It's
and
laps.
laps.
It
and laps
is.
and laps
It
and
is.
laps.
It is. And hopefully, you're paying attention to those, right? I mean, because so many guys, they get somebody that's super knowledgeable. But that's why I tell everybody too. If you're gonna search that and you're gonna get the Tony Uris and some of those guys, or you're gonna go to your car builder, ask why, how come. Don't just say put this in there. Trust me, what? No, I want to know why. I tell me, why are you picking the front end and not the back end, or vice versa, or why are you putting this in? I mean, what is telling you that? That's the little things a guy needs to know in order to get where he needs to be. But that's just my thought. I could be completely all wet too, but
Nope, I agree with you. You first off, you got to experience before you can do it. You have to experience it before you can make those decisions. You got to have the car's
right. You got to know what the feel is when you make a change. You want to, until you do it, you don't know what it's going to feel like. So until you feel it, you've got to try stuff, And my deal too is, don't be afraid to be a little different. Think outside the box. That's like, I remember Bob Jeffrey, working with him on a dirt late model, and he had a window, and his window was pretty big, but there was 20 or 30 squares within this window of different things. If you stayed within that window, yeah, he'd try anything. But if you said, hey, let's do this, and it wasn't inside that box, man, it was like pulling teeth. I mean, feet buried in, heels dug in. I mean, he wasn't buying it. And so you had to get inventive, right? We were swinging some weight up one night, and he says, okay, yeah, I don't want it that high. I mean, I only want it halfway, right? Whatever. Okay. Nope, no problem. So put it down. All right. So I did. He wanted it halfway. So then he said, okay, cool. Let me see it. Okay, it's halfway. Good. Yep. I'm going to go look at the track and whatever and get ready. Okay. As soon as he left, I put it back up top. We were 3/10 or 4/10 better than we were, right? And so there's some of that stuff, right? I mean, eventually you say, man, I know. I just know this is what it needs. So I don't know. It's a tough game. The tuning game is a tough game, especially the super late models. But hey, let's move on. West Coast late models at the Federated Auto Parts 75 at Yakima. Have you seen Randy Marshall run? I see his name everywhere. I've never seen the guy run. Andy, he was quick qualifier, 19.996. Now, I don't know if that's quick at Yakima. I would assume that's a half mile. Andy Beeman, second quick. Garrett Huffins was third quick. Rich Peters, fourth quick. And Brad Tidrick. So it went at the flag, it was Marshall, Beeman, Huffins, Tidrick, Coleman. Sixth was Todd Connell. Let's see. Rick Gerard, 7th. 8th, Bobby Stewart Jr. 9th, Rich Peters. 10th, Kyler Candiff. Kyler won the A-dash. And he finished, what did he finish? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Greg Coleman won the B-dash. And that was the Federated Auto Parts 75 from Yakima. Evergreen. Foster Press. What is that? Foster Press Mayor's Cup. Do you know? I don't know. Trenton Moriarty wins the late models. Chad Fitzpatrick. Do you know him? I don't either. I've seen his name a gob. Jeff Knight was third. The racing pastor. Donnie Winott was fourth. Fifth was Andy Soul, former standout shifter, 125. I mean, really good. Andy Soul was. He was 5th. Dan Moore 6th. Tanner Holmes 7th. Greg Bennett 8th. 9th was John Boyat. Jeremiah Johnson 10th. John Zaretsky 11th. Frank Urso 12th. And Greg Scott 13th. We didn't get to do a lot of it, but it's cool to go to new tracks, don't you think? I mean, it's neat if you can venture out and look like when we went to Eugene. That was a cool thing, you know. And we didn't do it very often, but we did, and it was cool. It was neat to do something on a different track. I think. Well, Greg Biffle, remember when he went to the trucks and stuff? They said that that was his biggest thing, was he was so good at adapting to new racetracks. So I don't know. Does that mean oval racing is oval racing and that's all there is to it, or is it a knack?
Well, it's a knack because each place has its own characteristics. I mean, like Wenatchee's 2 different corners, and you look at South Sound's a little bit different in each corner. You gotta be able to adapt to that, and you gotta be able to adapt quick. I just think it was Greg's experience of building the cars and doing that thing out of Portland that made that, because he pretty much dominated there.
He did, but you know what? It was his brother that got the thing started, and I think his brother got sick one night, or the car wasn't going very fast, so Jack said, well, let's put Greg in it, see what he can do, right? Just for, Greg wasn't even interested in doing it. He jumps in the thing, and he's lickety-split, and they're all scratching their head going, we got the wrong guy in the car, right? I mean, so boom, boom, and the rest is history. So, but that's crazy. I mean, that's just super cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to do different tracks. So, Trenton Moriarty, his dad, man, just one of the best ever. But it's good to see John Zaretsky there. They also had street stocks. Jesse Jensen won that. Dwayne Shrosbeck, 2nd. Daryl Latovsky, 3rd. Roger Drake, 4th. I'm sure you've heard of Roger Drake.
Yes, I've heard of Roger Drake.
And Kenny Erickson. Outlaw Figure 8s. Jake Reppin. Zach Larson. John Carlson. Chris Curtis. And Bryant Carlson for the Outlaw Figure 8s. For those of you Seth Funden fans and Quentin Borison fans, they were back. I think Funden was like 11th or something, and they only had 11. So, vintage. Devin Ironman wins that. That's the name that, right? I've been seeing that a lot. Vince Colwell, John Mustard, Kyton Jones, and Mike Clother. In the mini stocks, it was Brad Thomas, Andy Shukar, Travis Woodard, Justin Brave, another quarter midgeter, and Wyatt Gardner. That's what was going on at Evergreen at the Foster Press Mayor's Cup.
We'll see what we got next week. Is their big one?
I think next week, the 19th. I thought that's when it was.
20.
Well, yeah, 19 through the 20. The Summer Showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is, here's what I hope. I went last year, and I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying we had a red flag before they even completed a lap. So that's never good. And it went on and on and on pretty late. There was a lot of cautions and stuff, but good show. I love it. I wish I could go, but sounds like I may be going to Boise for the Unlimited All-Star quarter point race. So just in case you're interested and want to float over. But yeah, Brent Meyer. Brooke Schimmel is 15. Erwin Schimmel owns, her grandfather owns Power Rents down in Salem. He owns or did own and sold them, but so Erwin Schimmel's a good man. Brent Meyer's a late model guy from Wisconsin, right? He was back there with the
Kansas.
Well, yeah, Kansas, and there was there was a whole host of them, from Wisconsin. Come on, Brent, give me some big gun names from back in the day. I don't know. Joe Shear wasn't from Wisconsin, but yeah, that was back in that era. Joe Shear and who's his kid ran up here from Canada. Ridley. Jody Ridley.
Yeah.
And then had his kid too, was whatever. Can't remember it, but I watched Eaton clown him. Followed him for 99 laps. Every time he went by, there was a caution. He had to go back the last completed lap. He finally got him into one. Drove him in there till he was smelling poo-poo and hearing glass break, and he pushed up, and Eaton went, boom, took it. And then he protested him, because that was back in the days when the tour was, Eaton paid like $10,000 for 3 horsepower because he had a different intake manifold and stuff on it, and they'd never seen it. So they pulled it right there at Portland. I sat right in where the wall is, and then there's the dirt, and then I just put my lawn chair right there. Where he pulled up on the finish line there on the main straightaway, they didn't let him go back to the pit area, nothing. They tore that thing down right there, and they took the intake off and carburetor and everything and sent it back, and sure enough, it was legal. It was just something nobody out here had ever seen. So, but Gina Eaton says, so are we gonna go get the money then? Because I think there was a claim on it at that time, but Ron says, nah, we'll pick it up next time or whatever. So, of course, when you own half a Tacoma, right, it doesn't really matter. I mean, but or Lakewood or whatever it is, but
Lakewood.
But still, that's what I love about late models. I mean, I wish they would. I wish they would get him closer to the old steel body cars. Now, you weren't really in that, right? Were you?
No.
So
that was my drag racing years.
Right. Well, but steel body cars were cool. Wraparound bumpers, sheet metal headlights. Brent Meyer, are you still out there? Sup, my Superman of radio shows. Appreciate that, Brent. We're just clowning around doing a little something for the Northwest Super Late Model Series. Just trying to promote the series. And I will say, did you see the video that Michelle Martin did? You need to go to her page and see it. I got to give her mad props. It's cool. She did it like a movie, right? It's got at the end, it's got all the movie, the little thing you see.
Credits.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. So big shout out to Michelle Martin getting it done. Super cool. That's a talent I wish I had. But what's next? Spokane, the 29th. Going to be interesting. So you didn't see South Sound, did you? No, you didn't. You just saw Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. That was it.
That's the only one I went to.
Yeah, and I don't think I think they're back at WVSO later on in the year, but they go Meridian and it's Spokane, and then I think it's either Spokane or the Montana 200. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's part of the series. I think that's
I think somebody I seen there earlier. Montana 200 was in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, which would be the 20.
Because there was some downtime in there.
Yeah, I thought
Through-
Spokane was next, the 29th. But, well, shoot, I can look it up. Let me see here.
Yeah, the 20th through the 22nd is the showdown. And that must
Yes.
the next weekend must be Montana. Because I think guy said it was 2 weeks from this weekend, so that would be the 29th.
And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't been to Evergreen, you need to go. It's a cool track. It's really well done. They probably got one of the nicest concession areas I've ever seen. There are grandstands underneath there. It's have you been in there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's epic. They've got some really really good food, and it's a cool place. I've never been to Montana. Have you been there to the track in Montana?
No.
Yeah, I would love to go, but I might.
This next weekend when you're going whatever the Boise deal, I'm gonna be going to the family reunion to meet chicks.
You are
Yeah, I got a family reunion that weekend.
really.
I meet chicks every year at family reunion. New family members didn't know I had.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
To meet chicks? Is that what you said?
that's a Larry the Cable Guy deal.
Oh, okay.
He's always going to a family reunion to meet chicks.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't work. That's why I'm not spelling it out. I didn't see Molly Helmuth's name anywhere. Did you?
No, I didn't.
No. I wonder what happened there. All right. So, let's see here. Here it is. So it's going to go down like this. July 8th, Meridian. July 29th, Park Model Homes 125, Spokane. August 19th, Sun City 125 at Yakima. And September 2nd, the Civil War with the Spears SRL Southwest Tour in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then they closed the deal on September 23rd. Neil Newberry 125 at the Wenatchee Valley Super Bowl. So Spokane, Yakima, Salt Lake, and WVSO. The 29th is ORV quarter point race. Yes, it is, Brian.
And Brian, see, there he was. He was at South Sound last weekend.
Cool. Yeah, South Sound is the sleeper track of the Northwest. Well, we're going to get started till 7. It's only supposed to go an hour. We're a little over. We gave you a little extra. I want to let you know that the Northwest Super Late Model Series is sponsored by Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore in Wenatchee, where the name means a great deal. So if you're looking for a used car or even a new car, they can still get those. Look up Garrett and support Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore. If you're looking for photography, you need to probably go to Michelle Martin Photography or Horsepower TV or Films. That's her other brand. But check her out on Facebook, Michelle Martin. If you're looking for a wedding, she's excellent. Check her out. Give her a try. I'm sure she's open to that, because that's what she does. You got anything, Jeffrey?
Nope, I think we covered it.
I think we have. Cool stuff. Congratulations again to Brooke Schimmel.
Brooke Schimmel, Nicole Behar,
And Brittany Zamora.
Brittany Zamora. The
The
three
Northwest female phenoms, right? I mean, that's like they should be all on the. They should be on like a cover of. They should be on the cover of Speedway Illustrated, really. Northwest late model phenoms, boom, and on all three of them on the cover. That would be tight. But they're good. There's no doubt about it. They're no flukes. They're good. So good stuff. We'll be back with Super Late Model Monday on looks like the 30th. The next round after Spokane, the Park Model Homes 125. So check it out.
That would actually be the 31st.
Oh, yeah, because it was Saturday, 29th. Yes, you're right. I can't add. I can't count. But that's why I have you here.
I'm not sure I can be here that day.
What? Oh, the 31st? Why? Where are you going to be?
That my birthday.
Oh, even better. We'll celebrate.
I might be over-celebrated by then.
Oh, no. But, hey, I'm just going to tell you guys, if you haven't been to a late model race, you need to go to one. They're cool. You can learn something that you can apply to your karting stuff to whatever. They're cool. They're racers just like you. But if you haven't been to Evergreen, you haven't been to Southside, you haven't been to WVSO, you haven't been to any of those, you need to go. You need to see a late model race. It lights you up. Even if it's not your deal, it still lights you up.
And again, we're back on Wednesday.
We are back on Wednesday. We're going to be kicking it. What do you got going on for Wednesday night?
Oh, got my deal with the trailer.
Oh.
Trailer safety.
Yeah, going to be good stuff there. So if you want to get some tips and tricks on
keeping your trailer safe.
Mm-hmm. Maintenance, bottom line. But that's all on Wednesday. And we'll have some results from some of the karting stuff, maybe some of the modified stuff, the dirt, the sprint car stuff, big stuff, I think, over the weekend, right? So
this coming weekend, I'm looking so forward to headed to Republic. That is going to be so cool.
That is going to be super cool. Oh, and you're taking your car?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
The car is done, scaled, ready to go.
Very cool. Very cool. So get on up to Republic. Go watch the loader. He's the crew chief on the 52. 50.
The 50?
The 50. Who was 50 down at Willamette?
God, I don't remember. Too long years.
Russell. But get up there. Check them out. The modifieds are going to be there. Late model guys, you can tune in too. I got to get a hold of the Northwest Mini Stock Series too, because I want to see what they got going on and find out what Jason Majors is up to. Did you see his bodybuilding stuff that he did, right? He won at Spokane, and he went down to Vegas and participated in he's a bodybuilder. Dude is shredded. He's got a 16-pack, right? I mean, it's like a...
You mean like this?
No, yours are like... It's like Popeye. They droop. No, he is really ripped. So, anyway... Thanks, everybody. Again, big shout-out to Brooke Schimmel and the whole crew there. A big shout-out to Brittany Zamora for Fast Time, and I guess she was right there. And also a big shout-out to Nicole Bihar for her win at State Line. That's cool stuff.
It is.
Cool stuff. So we'll see you on Wednesday, 6:30 to 8. Northwest Race Report. You can check it out. terrybridgesracing.com/listen-live. Really what you should do is just go to the website and sign up to have it delivered to your email. It'll send you a reminder. No spam, I promise. There'll just be a reminder in your email box that says, hey, the show's there. I'm working on getting an app put together. It's going to be sweet. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up here probably pretty shortly. And we'll see you on Wednesday night, 6:38, right here at terrybridgesracing.com. Or check us out on Facebook, Northwest Race Report, NW Race Report. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.